Chapter 12, Scientific Analysis. Everything a reason. When Yan Mo woke up and he was returned to Yuan Zhan's tent. Wake up and the first thing to do is look at the right hand. I don't know how the guide judges, probably monitoring his physiological state at any time. When he woke up, he began to shine to find a sense of existence. After several verifications, Yan Mo has determined that others can't see the blinking light of the guide, but the light is just there to remind him. He remembered the last time he looked at the contents of the guide showed the words of immediate punishment if he looked at the guide. If he didn't look at the contents of the guide, would the punishment come when he didn't know? Yan Mo covered his palm and waited for a while. Time passed without any abnormalities in his body. Does this mean that he has not been punished, or that he will not be punished if he doesn't go looking at the guide content? Curiosity kills the cat, and Yan Mo can't wait like this all the time. It's a death to die early and death to die late. He turned his right hand over before he regretted it. Treatment of another person's broken arm, scum value -10, total scum value of 99,999,890 points. Trying to save lives once, the scum value is reduced by -1, and the total scum value is 99,999,889 points. There are only 2 of these, and nothing else. Yan Mo's mouth was caught in a smile. Is that slave not dead? Or is it a guide rule that doesn't judge what happened after he fainted? Judging from Cao attitude and others, Yan Mo felt that unless there had been an unforeseen event after he passed out, the slave was absolutely dead, and this can be confirmed to Cao later. If the slave is dead and the guide does not punish him, then it means he will continue to experiment and look for various loopholes in the guide. For a better life in the future, it is now possible to simply analyze and summarize the rules that the guide punishes him based on several examples that have occurred. Yan Mo pulled out the hay under the rotten skin and began to weave it at random. When he thought about things, he always wanted to do something. These mats can be put in the hay under the animal skin or in Cao, and sent him. Little Mo? Are you awake? There was someone outside of the tent who yelled his name. Yan Mo's thoughts were interrupted and Cao replied, finally you have woken up. Cao sent food and water. Yuan Shan also followed behind her. The big man still had an animal skin wrapped in his hand. Little Mo, what do you think is this? Yuan Shan sat beside Yan Mo, and the thing was wrapped like a treasure. After a while of silence, Yan Mo flashed his mind for this naive man. His fingers twitched, but after seeing what the big hand was holding, he endured the urge to give the other person a smack. Isn't this honeydew melon? Yan Mo slobbered. In his memory, he also ate this kind of honeydew melon. It seems that some people used it to trade for salt. At that time, it was battered by a lot. Because the melon could not be put in storage for a long time, the patriarch divided the melons. He also had the privilege of eating a whole lot. This honeydew melon has stripes and looked a bit like a cantaloupe, but its skin was rougher. The color of the melon is like a sweet potato skin. Its smell is really sweet as honey. It is a pity that the Salt Mountain people do not understand the method of planting, or the melon does not adapt to the soil near the Salt Mountain people. The Salt Mountain people sprinkle the seeds into the surrounding soil and waited for them to grow naturally, but they have not succeeded. Have you eaten? Yan Mo nodded. Yuan Shan teased him, want to eat? Yan Mo nodded madly, all restraints are not needed. He wants to eat that melon. Yuan Shan couldn't help but reach out and pinch his face. Yan Mo let him pinch and he himself reached for the honeydew. Yuan Shan laughed and let him steal the melon. Yan Mo's hand touched the animal skin, and found a surgical stone knife. The stone knife was wiped freely on the fur. I am coming, don't break it all over the place. This melon is sweet, and the juice can attract bugs. Cao laughed. She held the honeydew from the boy's hand and putting it on the stone table in the tent. Yan Mo handed the stone knife to Cao, and the service was of course better. He did not expect to eat it alone. He did not know that Yuan tribe produced this kind of honeydew melon, but when he saw Yuan Shan wrapping it with animal skin, and he knew that even if Yuan tribe produced this melon, the number of the produce was not that high, maybe it's still precious item. Cao Ting cuts across the melon and a unique sweet and mellow taste immediately fills the tent. Yan Mo swallowed his tongue. No one should blame him for being so shameless. He came here even more terrible than living in the legendary end of the world. Every day except drinking water, which is still limited, he has to eat the kind of hard and salty dry meat, still not enough occasionally. It is a blessing for him to bake a piece of fresh meat. Last time, he suggested that Cao Ting grill the meat with salty and dried meat a little, and the result was that Cao Ting said if it is not that he strongly urges not to drink raw water, Cao Ting will not burn him if he wants to save the firewood. Duren Yuan Shan, this melon is precious, half should be going to Duren Dahi, right? There are 2 children in Dahi family. Yan Mo reluctantly said. If you want to mix well in the primitive society, you have to mingle with the locals. He is too young and a slave. He can't build his prestige. He can only make people like him this way. Yuan Shan sat down on Yan Mo bed and his hand rubbed young man head, looking at the melon, watching the young eyes embed with greed. I have sent them one, this one we eat. What about Da Ying? I sent him nothing. Yuan Shan snorted and said, if he wants to eat, he can go find it himself. Oh, how did you go look for this melon? Yuan Shan shook his head. There were powerful beasts in several places. I have a group of beasts in this place. It is very difficult to lead them. I was also lucky this time. When passing by, the family just went out hunting, only the cubs were left, so I just picked a few honeydew melons and ran out. It is also dangerous to eat a melon. This world is really fucked up. Cao Ting cut a 10-pound honeydew melon into 8 parts and gives 2 pieces to Yuan Shan and Yan Mo. Perhaps the food here is precious, and the melon and melon seeds are not removed before eaten. Yan Mo grabbed the honeydew melon and bit into it. The melon meat was in his mouth and almost made him scream, too fucking delicious. This is the life. Melon meat, was cold, sweet, has the effect of cutting hunger, benefit vital energy, clearing lung infection and cough, clearing beauty freckle, restoring health, and so on. When the melon meat was being chewed in the mouth, Yan Mo's mind naturally had such a passage. This is his professional habit. In order to prevent himself from forgetting these professional and useful knowledge, he has developed the habit of reviewing it once every time he meets something new. The honeydew melon are also very sweet, sweeter than normal melon, and Yan Mo ate and remembered to only spit out the seeds. Honeydew melon seed can cure cold, diarrhea, relieve constipation and other effects. Honey melon seeds, even when they're cold, have bitter taste. They have the effect of enhancing human immunity. Until his share of honeydew melon was finished, Yan Mo found that Cao Ting did not eat anything, and Cao Ting was holding his hay woven hay, looking at it repeatedly. Cao Ting looked at Yan Mo, and after she saw him looking at her, she thought that he still wanted to eat. He immediately got up and went to the table and took 2 more pieces, and handed them to Yuan Shan and him. Yan Mo took a look at Yuan Shan, and split the honeydew on the handle into 2. He handed it to Cao Ting. Sister, you also eat. Cao Ting obviously swallowed her tongue, but she still shook her head. No, you go ahead and eat. Yuan Shan suddenly spoke, eat, you have to take care of little Mo. Thank you, Duren. Cao Ting sat on the ground and bowed down to Yuan Shan. She was blushing. Yan Mo. Yan Mo's heart was calmed because he saved Yuan and Yuan Shan and others' attitude changed towards him. He completely forgot that this is a slavery tribe with a relatively clear social class, and Cao Ting bowing has made him awake again and realize that if he is really labeled as a slave, and later if he wants to get the social status he wants, it will be very difficult. Yuan Shan Duren, these are a few common herbs that I have drawn for Duren Dahi. If you see them outside, Can you bring them back to me? The whole plant with the roots would be the best. Yan Mo hides the true emotions. He took a piece of wood from the bed and handed it to Yuan Shan. Yuan Shan didn't pay it any attention. He smiled and said, "What did you paint?" When he took a look at the wood plate, his face immediately changed color. "Where are you from?" Yuan Shan stared at the teenager. Yan Mo felt a tight heart. What wrong? Cao Ting was also scared to look up, and the melons in her hand she did not dare to eat any more. Cao Ting said that you are from the Salt Mountain tribe. I don't think so. I have been to the Salt Mountain tribe. The priests there will use salt to treat people. This isn't like what you, but it only ends here. Little Mo, you honestly tell me, are you from one of the 3 cities? 3 cities? Yan Mo vaguely remembered that there was a top, middle, and lower city, but he didn't know what was in the 3 cities. You don't want to say it. Even if you paint the herb, I will pay close attention to you from now on. Yuan Shan looked at him deeply, picked up the leather skin and he put a piece of wood in the animal skin, and got up and left. Yan Mo. The Yuan men are really bold enough. As soon as Yuan Shan was gone, Cao Ting was more comfortable. She patted him and made him feel at ease. Yuan Shan is very good. He won't say anything about you. As long as you are good, don't do anything that harms Yuan tribe. Yan Mo nodded and pointed to the melon on the stone table. Sister, such a big melon, let's eat it separately, don't give it to others. Cao Ting didn't refuse, and the look of the teenager was softer. Right, I want to ask you, how did you weave this whole piece? If there is enough hay, can you weave a bigger piece? Ah. Yan Mo looked at the bed and thanked Cao Ting for reminding his consciousness which had gone into a misunderstanding. He thinks that ordinary things may not be understood here. He can pass on some skills that he regards as ordinary and useless, and then try to make his life better by using others' hands. Maybe he can reduce the scum value. No wonder his right hand was blinking bright again. Yan Mo moved to Cao Ting's side to confirm the news that the voyeuristic slave was dead. While he was teaching Cao Ting to learn the basic techniques of weaving the straw mat, he continued to analyze the punishment rules of the guide. Let's look at the previous examples. 1. Shortly after he woke up, the fat dog killed a person in front of him, but the guide did not punish him. Why? According to his analysis, there are 2 reasons. First, he was tied and seriously injured at the time and was completely incapable of acting to save anyone. Second, he didn't know the language at the time. Even if he shouted out, the fat dog couldn't understand what he was talking about. 2. The guide punished him after ignoring you and he when he was brought back. Why? He thought about it and only thought of 3 reasons. First, he had some freedom at the time. If he was willing, he could climb over to heal you and he. Second, he had already knew how to speak the language here, and Cao Ting was still by his side. Even if he was not good at moving, he could teach others what to do to save you and he. Thirdly, he found that the Cirsium plant, which can be used as an anti-inflammatory and hemostasis, this plant would be useful to you and he. He can't show up in various considerations, but he can send it to the shovel. 3. He gave you and he a paralysis acupuncture needle. The guide judged that he deliberately caused pain. How is this judgment made? First, can the guide read his thoughts? Human thoughts are changing rapidly. The so-called mind-reading phenomena is just a lie, but if a thought and emotion are too strong and persistent, it may indeed be felt by people around you, such as the so-called murderous intent, disgust, and love. He has participated in similar human experiments and has experienced this possibility. The pain that he wanted to make you and he feel was really strong. So can he judge that the guide can read very strong emotions or thoughts at a certain moment? But what if his thoughts and actions are inconsistent? Second, if the guide can't monitor his thoughts, then does the guide have the ability to analyze his medical skills, know all the knowledge he has, and be able to judge which treatment based on his previous medical skills and the medications available around him? What is good for the patient and which is harmful to the patient? If he want to find out which of the two is based on which of the two is used as a benchmark, he still needs a lot of experimentation. From a scientific point of view, he thinks the latter is more likely. 4. He fainted, the slave was killed, the guide did not punish him. Why? His analysis is: first, he asked Yuan Diao and others to not kill the slave before he passed out. Second, although his fainting was suspected to be caused by his own hands, he did lose consciousness at the time. Third, he paralyzed himself although he was suspected of cheating, but with his poor health and even 2 operations, his body and spirit did require deep sleep to recover. So either the guide can determine that if he is making himself lose consciousness then he is not cheating. Either the guide cannot judge such subtle things and can only judge according to the specific appearance of the scene. And he thought it was the latter. Based on the above 4 examples, Yan Mo initially concluded that the guidelines for judging and imposing penalties are as follows: the guide can only judge based on the specific appearance of the scene, and it will not analyze in depth whether the scene at the time is suitable for the person to being modified to save people, the guide only to judge whether the person being transmigrated at that time has the ability to save people. This ability encompasses his actions and words, as well as his knowledge, his surroundings, and everything he can use at the time. If the rules he summed up are not wrong, Yan Mo guessed that the last time he had saves Yuan He, if he could speak to Cao Ting at the time saying that he would like to help Yuan He, or let Cao Ting send the help afterwards, or clearly shows that he will go to help afterwards, and the guide may not punish him. Know the rules and you'll be fine.